Welcome on a Tuesday night to Loud and Nerdy. My name is JW Colwell. Joining us tonight, as always, are my two co-hosts, Kyle Defina, Jerry Kamora, and Joe. We're going to have to add you to the goddamn opening because you keep on showing up.
We're going to have to hashtag his name in here and shit.
We're going to have to, somewhere, at some point.
Yeah.
He's got
hashtag
like
Santa Claus.
Actually, Kyle, let's do comments on the screen because I didn't like how it looked last week. I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but we're doing the comments on the screen, okay? Cool.
Like this?
Yes, perfect. Good evening, friends. Not feeling too good.
No. Oh, sorry to hear that, Ken.
But I'm here. Yeah, Ken, I'm worried about your health, but I'm also so thankful you're in our lives. We appreciate you. Stay out of trouble. Have a good day. Hi, boys, and the almighty Ridgely. Yeah, the grand poobah. The grand poobah of the Indie Escape Network. We have a good show tonight. We have a lot of stuff to cover. We have the boys from Francis Fell here. The gentlemen from Francis Fell. I don't want to say boys. That's insulting. Scott Schiaffo and Jack Fellers are here. We're going to talk about their music, which, you know, they have the second EP that just came out in March. It's really great. I've been listening to it for the last 2 days, trying to prepare for tonight because I'm not a music person. Everybody knows this.
All their links are in the description of the show.
Yes, all the links are in the description of the show. You can get it. You can get all their music almost anywhere you go to find music. Spotify, all those places, Apple. By all means, embark on this journey with these gentlemen who've been together for a long time, over 40 years, I think, when we're talking in the green room. So, we'll get to them in a moment. Let's do news. Let's talk about how the death of movie theaters has been greatly exaggerated, and we're off to have a good summer. So that's the first thing. This movie opened this week. This movie was tremendous. It's a very good movie. How to Train Your Dragon. As you can see by my thing, Dragon is better than Lilo and Stitch in every conceivable way.
Really?
It's a way better. Yeah, it is. It just
Absolutely.
It is a way better movie than Lilo and Stitch in every conceivable way. And part of it is because they let the guy who directed the animated movie write and direct the movie. So it's at times a perfect shot-for-shot remake, and at times near the end they change some things up, make the final confrontation a little bit bigger. The movie runs 2 hours and 6 minutes, so if you have younger kids, it might be a
How
stretch.
long?
2 hours, 6 minutes.
Wow.
It's a quality flick, though. It's
okay. That's a long flick for a kid.
I will tell you that my nephew made it for the first time without having to go to the bathroom.
Wow.
Which for a kid is a big deal. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
And afterwards he came out and we were talking. He's like, "It's my favorite movie I've ever seen. I love it. When is it coming home? When can I watch it at home?" I didn't get to see the DVA from the original story at all. No. There are a few things that are deviations. But what I would say with the movie is it expands and extrapolates out things that you want to see, as opposed to like in Lilo and Stitch going too far into the taking the kids away thing is just too much. This extrapolates out stoic a little bit. And again, the cool thing is that the side characters are played by major actors. Peter Safranowicz from The White Lotus. Gerard Butler plays Stoic, the dad. He voiced him in the original movie. Nick, the guy from Shaun of the Dead, plays Gobber. So it's really good. The kid playing Hiccup is great. It had an $80 million weekend, right? $84 million. But here's where things get great for the box office. Lilo and Stitch did 15, so only 51% down. It's up to 366. It's plugging along, well on its way to $1 billion. Materialists, right? This little-known movie that's from A24 with these three people, Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, Pedro Pascal, which is counter-programming, did $12 million. And then Mission Impossible did another 10. Ballerina did 9. So it's not one movie doing a ton of money. It's one movie doing a ton of money plus a bunch of other movies that are bumping along, extending the good times out, right? And that's the key to moviegoing. Moviegoing is a learned trait. You learn to go. Nick Frost. Thank you, Raven. Couldn't think of it. I knew it was Nick. I'm excited. We have a cool show. And so that's really good news as we progress. Hello, Lizzie Kitty Metrics. We have it expands out pretty well, and we've got nothing but heavy hitters coming in the next 4 weeks. All heavy hitters. Even the lower budget movies in the next 2 weeks are heavy hitters. I also quickly, fight Jerry. I want to talk about this movie. It didn't get a lot of play.
There's no safety on these guns.
It only made $2.5 million. But if you're a Stephen King fan and a Mike Flanagan fan and Tom Hiddleston and all these people in it, you should check out Life of Chuck. It also has Mark Hamill. It also has, if you can tell me who this is, Jerry or Joe or Kyle, that's Mark Hamill. Who's this? Who's this
that's
person?
the chick from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
What's her? Okay, so you don't know her name, but okay. Mia Sara.
I forget her name.
Mia Sara has not acted since a long time ago. So this is her first movie in a while. It is a great movie. It is hard to explain, and don't know anything going into it. Yes. There was a major announcement. That's the other news I wanted to get to. There's a major announcement. Spaceballs 2 has been announced for 2027 with
Spaceballs 3, The Search for 2.
Well, it's Spaceballs 2. I would assume they're going to do Spaceballs 2. The two that are jumping out for the title would be the Search for More Money, or I think the one that's going to win is The Schwartz Awakens. That makes perfect sense in every conceivable way. They had a really funny trailer that loaded from MGM, and Mel Brooks was on it. Mel Brooks, 98-year-old Mel Brooks, is back to play Yogurt. And the other big news that Raven already ruined, but is really great news, is Rick Moranis is coming out of retirement to play Dark Helmet again.
It stinks no barf, though.
It's my biggest problem is there's no Bartholomew and there's no Dot. Now, Dot can be replaced because it can be a different actress doing the voice. But Bartholomew is going to be hard to replace. He's the glue that holds that movie together for me. He's the funniest thing in the movie by far. Money on Pullman Jr. Character nickname being Bob, possibly. I think it's fun, one of those things where it'll be a really funny kind of concept. But they had a really great announcement trailer. It was very funny. Just all the different movies that have come out since Spaceballs and all the different sequels that have come out. And it was really great.
They still have to get that dude. You find anything? We still ain't found
shit.
That would be great.
What are you guys doing? We're combing the desert.
We still ain't found.
We still haven't found shit.
What the hell did Mel Brooks offer Rick Moranis? I was like, Ghostbusters? Nah, I'm not coming back for that. Spaceballs 2?
But I think part of it might be that Ghostbusters can survive without Rick Moranis, right? We love that character, but Ghostbusters can survive without Rick Moranis. Spaceballs cannot survive without Rick Moranis.
Right.
And just honestly and truthfully, it just can't. So I don't, I think that's fun. I think we'll have fun with it, and I think it's potentially, one of those movies where, maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And Bruno attacked for no reason in New York. I think he didn't do it. Yeah, he did get attacked also recently, which was weird. Okay. We spent 13 minutes. Yes, you have a question? Yes.
Do I have a question? No, I don't.
Well, you're raising your hand.
Well, because it's hard to interrupt you, Mr. Cotta.
Mr. Cotta.
You never take a breath.
I try to get a lot of stuff out.
Apparently. Actually, I was just given permission to make the announcement. I guess there's actually a press release now that Harlow's Hunt 2 is officially in
on Facebook.
Pre-production.
Oh, I told Terry Gerald, if we're linked and whatever, I told Terry Gerald I want to die a horrible, gruesome death. And I want to make Kyle's life that much better.
Him and I discussed it already. So
yeah. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So,
well,
just so everybody knows, John Dugan from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is involved again. Got Mick Strawn, who, if you don't know that name, you should. He's a legendary production designer behind A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, 4, Candyman, Blade, Texas Chainsaw 3,
he's pretty
Tales from the Dark Side, Boogie Nights, you know, and it looks like Jimmy Starr's producing it, maybe. That's interesting. And we were tagged in it because, I was kind of.
You were in it. You were a major development at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert. Anyway,
so yes,
that's great news. That's cool. So Spaceballs 2 and Harlow's Haunt 2 are the two big announcements. And
it's going to be an anthology this time.
It's an anthology. Oh, that's cool. I like anthologies.
Have you looked at Canadian money? It says make fun of me. Like, what the fuck?
Make a stone show making fun of Canadian money. Well,
it's no joke, though.
Yeah, when you talk to Mick Strawn and you find out what budget is what on some of these productions, and well, that production only had a $10,000 Coke budget. This one had a $20,000 Coke budget.
I don't know. I love Coca-Cola. I can. Oh, wrong Coke.
Yeah, the yayo.
Okay. The yayo. Yes. Don't get high in your own supply.
Good old Jimmy.
Good old Jimmy. Okay, so we are super excited tonight. I think that's a good place to end with numbers one. We're super excited tonight to have one old friend back to the network and one completely new friend to the network. You can't beat these things. We're super excited to have the members of the Francis Fell join us tonight, Mr. Scott Schiaffo and Mr. Jack Fellers. Woo! Gentlemen, welcome to the program. I'm so excited you're here. And Jerry, go ahead.
Well, the first thing is, of course,
hey guys, my name's Jerry. I do that music stuff
Jerry.
too.
Well, everybody else knows who the heck I am. They don't really want to know me.
But Jerry of the band Slapjaw.
Where did the name come about?
For Francis Fell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh gosh. Well, Jack, do you want to take that or do you want me to botch it? Hey, Gabe.
Oh, it's a long, sordid story of me and my friend Scotty through iterations, and I went by myself, but it was always Scotty and me, and we had the heart, and my name is John Francis Fellers, and so I thought Francis Fell would be cool. So it could be a verb. It could be my name. I don't know. But it had to have Scotty Schiaffo and Dave Biglin as part of it, and that's where the name came from.
Yeah, there was a lot of years of different monikers, if you will. And when we finally reconnected not long ago and decided we're going to put the music out, we had been through so many different names. I was a little perplexed as to what it might be called because none of the older names would make sense because there was a lot of other musicians tied into those names. But the name Francis Fell for me, because it's a band, it's a person, it's a man, it's a woman. I love that the ambiguity of it, and I locked right in. So I think this is the natural progression of what it should have been. The bottom line is, and Jack is probably going to be embarrassed by me saying this, but any musician that has played with us, it's all about the lead vocal. Jack's vocal is stunning. And I fell in love with his voice 40 years ago. And I said, I got to be in a band with that guy. I got to write music with that guy. So
40 years ago, you say?
Oh my God.
40. Whoa.
Look at that.
In black and white.
Booyah.
Yeah, there you go. Wow.
Well, they had color cameras back then, right?
I was gonna do it. They met 40 years ago on the battlefield in Gettysburg.
Well, to your credit, we took a lot of band pictures over the years and made them in black and white because a lot of times black and white just looks better.
It looked cooler.
For band photos, it just does.
Yeah.
Jerry, did you have hair back then?
Oh, I had hair once upon a time. You know, it just congregated.
Did you not see Jerry's picture? They put a picture up in one of our yearbook things, and Jerry looks like Anthony Michael Hall from 16 Candles.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, true statement. But you guys not only have black and white, you also have sepia tone. Look at this one. This one's beautiful.
Oh boy,
It's like out of focus, and like you got like the long tie on, and you have the hand solo vest.
Do you see the white guitar I'm playing? That was the first guitar my girlfriend, who's now my wife, bought me, and I had to sell it because we had kids, we had no money. And so look, I just got this. It's a black version of the same album.
Man.
DY88, played by Tom York, and yours truly. But it's true. That's a true story.
Wow. Yeah, guys, thank you to ask about the name, because the genesis of the project has a lot of twists and turns and interesting as far as my involvement, because JW and Joe, me from the film world. But there's a lot of interplay there. Like long before I auditioned for Clerks, I had met Jack at community college, and it's a story I love to tell. I'll tell it quickly. We were auditioning for the acting department for an acting class. I don't think we were auditioning for an actual show, but there was a commissary waiting area where you would wait to get called in to do your audition. And I'm in there and I'm getting ready in whatever way who knows back then. And in walks this tall drink of water, right, with black motorcycle leather jacket. Long. He looked like the love child of David Cassidy and Joey Ramone.
Wow.
Right? So I'm like, oh, this Cassidy, I'm already like admiring him yet intimidated. So we're hanging, and that's actually Dave Biglin.
Davey Biglin.
Okay, sorry. You guys all look alike.
Okay. Dave Biglin. Anyway,
wrong guy.
We're in there waiting to get called in, and I hear somebody vocalizing along to the buzz that the Coke machine is making, and this guy is harmonizing melodies over the buzz that the old time Coke machine was generating. And I said, that's it. I got to be in a band with this guy no matter what. I didn't even have a band. I had to cobble a band together to get him to come down and jam with us. And he was a pretty, he didn't immediately come along 100% because a lot of people wanted them to front their band. You throw a rock, you hit a guitar player, but there aren't that many front men that sound great, look cool, and are creative. And Jack's got no ego trip about it. So that's the story.
Are you sure? Are you sure? No ego trip. Look at this picture. This picture is about as rock star ego trip as you can get. Look at this.
That's
again,
Dave.
That's David.
That's Dave again. Jesus Christ!
JW.
Son of a
You
bitch!
kind of
Guys
suck
everywhere.
at this, man.
I don't suck. I have
I
have every picture from their website. I don't suck.
I'm kind of
Every
partial to
single-
this one. I'm kind of
So much
partial
for
to
that
this one, though.
research.
That's awesome.
Well, David,
You want to know why that
Stealing
kid's? You want to know why that kid's throwing his thumb up like that? Because he has to listen to a speech from this guy 20 minutes later. A speech to the entire school that was not good. Oh,
anyway, so all these years later, we developed a songwriting
All
partnership.
right.
No, Scott's
sorry,
right
let's-
back on track.
Let's bring up a picture of Scott now.
That's me.
There you go.
I hate you, Joe. I hate you. I thought I hated Kyle, but you know what? Kyle had my back last week, and now I hate you, Joe. That's it.
Because it wasn't properly labeled.
That's a little ego-y, that picture, I got to say.
No,
But it's super cool, though. I mean, being in a band and being able to pull off
My wife,
that hat is an
we were out
impressive
to
thing.
dinner. My wife took it when we were out to dinner, but I'm like, whoa, that's way too ego. Anyway, Scotty said the nicest thing about me. I believe about 10% of it
I'll tell you what, what's nice about putting the music out, I feel like a young whippersnapper, right? Well, you are,
You are, Gabe.
I'm old as
Shut up, Gabe.
But now I forgot my point because I'm old.
I'm
I'm even
sorry.
feeling good around here.
Well, wait, Scott, do you think
So
the
you guys are in
10%?
college.
Oh,
Wait a
and
second.
what's nice about doing it, finally getting the music out professionally at this point in our lives. First of all, music is its own reward. That's how I feel about it. I mean, it's and right, Jerry, you would agree with that, right? But now
1000%.
kind of look like the guys that should be making that sound, if you know what I mean. We kind of look
Your sound is unique. It is unique.
The Americana thing, and it's got indie rock roots, and there's a lot more rock coming in the future. But it's moody. It's got the country backbone and blues. And back when we first started, a zillion years ago, in the early '80s, mid '80s, it was so many original bands out in the clubs, and the Holy Trinity was REM, The Cure, and U2. Right? They took over in my world for like the Stones, Beatles, Zeppelin, Who. So that was like what I felt we were competing with, and that felt untouchable. 40 years later, I feel like we are our own thing now, and we can look the way we look and not have to worry about being pinups or whatever.
Well, 40 years later, you guys aren't doing auto-tune. You guys are
and now
that guy is, you got to hear him. I've literally, we've played shows where the place would be stunned and you could hear a pin drop after he would do Amazing Grace, because we used to do that song as an intro to one of our original tunes, and the place would be, you'd literally could hear a pin drop and then they would lose their minds. It was great. I waited for that part of the set every night. And Jack would also do Bob Marley tune. Jack, help me, I'm forgetting the name now.
Redemption song.
The Redemption song. That would be a break. The band would go off and have a bump, and Jack would do Redemption song, and he would kill the place. It would be great.
So Jack, the two I was telling Scott about that I was thinking about America, the band America.
Yeah.
Because I rewatched one of these old movies called The Last Unicorn, and America did all the music in that movie. America and Toad the Wet Sprocket are the two that I was like, when I listened to your band today in the last couple of days.
That's
and
a really cool sort of arc between those two bands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was humming. You know what I mean? I was humming your tunes and then Toad the Wet Sprocket. Are those do you guys have bands that you guys are, aside from the Stones and everybody major, are there smaller bands that you guys, a band, like somebody you guys think of that maybe other people don't listen to, they should? They want to fix their musical skills?
Jack has really eclectic taste. In fact, back in those older days, I would, aside from the stuff that we all loved, which, when you go back to a time when REM, this pre-Warner Brothers, like we watched them grow with every album, saw every show. Like that was really exciting to be a part of that from both sides, whether you were a fan or in a band of your own. But, I grew up on 60s and 70s music, as did Jack. A lot of the bands that we kind of feel people have been making comparisons age-wise would be peers, like the Wilcos and Jeff Tweedy's. I mean, I love Wilco. For me to say otherwise would be crazy. But I've got my Jeff Tweedy, and this cat, I get so excited to write music just because I know that voice is going to sing it. I'm a big fan of Francis Bell. What can I say?
I get a lot of.
So are we.
I get a lot of questions from people about how do I start playing guitar? How do I start music? And a lot of what I tell them is like, well, how do I write riffs and all that? I tell them you're going to get influences from places you don't expect. Do you guys agree with that?
100%.
I mean, you have your favorites, you have your favorite bands and stuff, but sometime I'll write a riff and it's like, I don't even know where that came from because it doesn't sound like what I've been listening to over the last 10 years, but I heard it somewhere. right?
Yeah,
I'm just curious if you have the same kind of a.
Oh,
all the time. I mean, there are times when the songwriting muse hits, and I know exactly where it might have come from as far as the inspiration. And then there are times that we did our first bunch of professional demos with Dave Biglin, who you kept popping his picture up, but really the Francis Fell story. Dave Biglin's a big part of the sound in the studio. He produced us.
It's right there. Dave
There he
Biglin.
is. There's Dave.
Yes.
Dave's
Yes.
played with.
I got it right this time.
Dave's played with literally without dropping names, a giant list of who's who, and he's an East Coast producer / session man that's played with many people. But when I first heard how it was coming out with just the acoustic guitars and vocals, it was so much more pristine than, a few years earlier we're into clubs like Bashing It Out, semi kind of country punk rock thing, pop. But then when we took it in and polished it up, I almost didn't recognize. I was like, wow, that's, I thought to myself, that's amazing that's how we sound after it gets produced. Because there's Jack and I writing the songs. One of the songs I remember we would hang out and literally just, if it came quickly, boom, it was done. We'd do a little demo of it. Then when you hear it fully produced, it is a shock. Yeah.
And Jerry, to your point, it comes from everywhere. Like me growing up,
It does.
Joe Jackson. I grew up. Here's a crazy thing. I grew up. My mother and father. I'm going to bore you guys right now. They were both in barbershop harmony, right? Sweet Adelines and barbershop harmony. So I learned how to harmonize with the goddamn soda machine because that's all I grew up with. So to your point about like, where does it come from? There's the emotional part, but then there's the musicality part, and it all mashes in, at some point. And you have to meet the right people sometimes, unless you're a solo artist. But I met Scott, and it just was fusion. And then we added other really cool people and their fusion. And so you've got these multi-layers of all of that stuff.
Well, it's funny that you said the soda machine thing got brought up, because one of the videos that I did, I talked to people and thanked them for watching videos and stuff. But one of them, I said, you're going to hear something in the environment and it's going to give you an idea. Like for me, it's less vocal. It's more guitar riff. Same thing though. Melody, right?
You play off it.
It hits my head. If I hear I start thinking of a riff in my head, and next thing you know, I'm mouthing it on my phone to record it so I can go home and translate it to my guitar. It's
amazing.
But it's kind of similar. I was just curious if it's similar for you guys as it is for me, but it sounds
100%.
like it really is. So
Now,
you guys,
there's not a lot of that experience. Sorry.
you've been playing shows?
We haven't. We're not currently. I mean, we just started putting the music out the last 9 months. There's some geographical space between us. It
I'm
makes
up in Boston.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
so.
We won't hold that against you.
I know.
And
I'm a
where you
Yankee
at?
Giants
Are you in Jersey?
fan. Don't worry. Anyway,
Giants fan? Okay.
Giants, Yankees.
Yes.
Giant
thank you.
what?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You live in the wrong place, brother.
Well, listen, I moved in 2007 when the Giants kicked the Patriots' ass.
There.
My wife's a Giants fan.
The first time.
Jack, please don't get along with Joe. That's not good tonight.
Hey, Joe, how's it going, man?
God.
Where do you,
God.
Scott? Where do you live?
I'm in northern New Jersey. I'm up in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes from the bridge or tunnel. I've
That's
been there.
where I'm at.
It's there my whole life. Jersey guy.
'Cause we
Not
do a
down
lot
in the
of
Red
shows
Bank
up
area like everybody thinks. The folks of the view is.
Oh, the Francis Fell Slapjaw show has to happen.
Oh yeah.
You guys are all in the same
was just
fucking
curious
place.
because I saw New
The
Jersey on some other, like bio stuff, and I'm like, well, we play shows out there a lot because our singers out there. We play a lot in out at the what the hell Connections, which is
Dingbats.
in
Oh
Clifton.
yeah.
We played in Fairview. We've actually played in Nyack, New York. We
Oh,
played
this
in
is
Boone,
like
New
the Music
Jersey,
Avengers happening.
like all around that whole area because he's from there. You know,
That's
so-
Yeah.
And Jerry's like, and I'll form the guitar player.
Connections, is it still called Connections?
in Jersey
Yes.
City.
Well, actually, Connections is gone, but there's a
Right.
place down the street, the Dingbats, and the
Dingbats,
Dingoes
that's
Den.
it. I knew the name had changed and the people had moved over.
Connections
yeah,
is long
no, we-
gone. I hate it myself there.
Yeah, no. That's cool because we know Connections. I mean, we
How do you go from connections to dingbats?
Well, it's down the road.
Like,
It's a
I'm
different
saying,
place.
like I don't.
It's on,
I'm
it's
just.
on Van Houten Avenue.
But if it's the same
strip.
people that open it, it's like, you
No,
know what?
it's
We're
not.
going to call our place Connections. We should call it Dingbats next.
All right, I
But
want
we-
to
we
try.
played
That's
along.
right off.
out
I
that
want to
way.
try an
That's
experiment
right.
here, guys.
Experiment. Ooh.
Yes, an experiment. The three gentlemen below. Do you all have guitars next to you?
Yes. Two
Okay.
of them do. I know Jerry does. Look, Jerry's is right there.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the three guys on top,
Uh-oh.
and then Jerry, you said you kind of learned something yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
So do you think you can like cue that up and then see if they can follow, or vice versa?
Well,
Dance,
it
monkey.
won't, be, it won't be them following me. Believe that.
Well, let's see what
Dance,
happens.
monkey,
I'm gonna drop,
dance.
I'm gonna
No,
drop
I
this
was
all
messing
down.
around with. I was messing around with No Small Bones.
Oh,
Ah,
Yes, that one. So see if I got it right.
that is it.
Something like that, right?
That's it.
yes, that is.
And then the other part is
Cool bees, man.
close,
That's
right?
the first somebody grabbing a tune. I've never heard somebody else other than us.
Then I think there was a
That's it. The bridge. That's the entire song.
Our TikTokers got mad skill.
like that, right?
Yes, you got it, man. Cool bees.
Kind of reminiscent of Simple Man.
Sure.
How
You know,
cool
it's
is
so.
that?
It's funny thing about music is it can come from so many places, and where somebody hears "Simple Man," somebody might hear something similar because so much.
Walk
of
in the water. Walk on the water. I heard all
There
day.
you go.
Go the wet.
The key to keeping creative and continuing a career this long is collaboration and keeping an open ear to new sounds as well as old sounds. I would say yes.
We lost Jerry. Jerry will be back. I
Hey,
what I
Jerry
want to
got
say.
booted for copyright infringement.
Yeah, Jerry got booted for stealing other people's shit.
The Francis Fell Police. The Francis
He's
Fell
back. He's
Police
back.
are doing their job.
But what I want to say, the interesting thing about your music though is you guys are doing it without the bells and whistles, right? Like you're doing old school, old timey music.
There's
That's
no digital.
yeah. There's no digital. The reason it sounds so good is because it's not overproduced, right?
Well, I would agree with that. And yes, there's no. I mean, digital plays in at some point. We don't use.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, digital tool. You know, there's not a lot of digital tools in what we do, and when we get to the recording, it's people playing and people grooving, and then this man, you know, doesn't need auto tune. But when it comes down to mixing and mastering, of course, we're doing it with today's.
So are you recording on tape? Is that what you're analog?
The music that you're hearing, the first two EPs, all of that was, in fact, mostly everything that's going to be coming out over the next year or 2 years, because we're going to be rolling out EPs for a while, was all captured to tape originally. Yeah.
That's
What
what
is
we
that,
do. We do analog too. Our recording guy that we go to, he's like, tape sounds better. It's got more. air about it, right?
I'm telling
And
you,
it does.
slap fell or Francis Jaw is coming.
I love it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty neat though. I mean, you guys have been around like a way lot longer than us, but like the similarities, like even though we've been recording, I mean, we're 27 years old, but there's all the new technology. Sometimes old just sounds better, and that classic, that raw. The people, I feel like people are hearing you when it's a little more raw.
Yeah,
We've heard-
sure, absolutely. No doubt, no doubt. I mean, that the one thing that makes, in fact, I was so grateful for a lot of the feedback and the reviews the last EP had received all around the world. But England loves their Americana music. They love anything that's resonates as a genuine heartbeat from America. But yeah, I mean, I go through that too, even with plugins. Like I get lost with the plugins. There's too many options. I want to sit back. I know what I want to play. I know what I want to hear. And if you get it with the old school gear, you get there quicker, you know, especially if you're a guitar based band. I mean, keyboard folks have had technology on their side a long time already. But yeah, there's no auto tune. There's no looping really going on our records, you know, and that's not
That also works.
right.
That's also a great band name. Quick question. I have a question about the artwork. You guys have some excellent, amazing artwork on the volume 2 stuff.
All right, he pulled up one of your guys' albums. Great.
Why don't you shut up, Joe?
Well,
Here's the second one, Joe. Take that.
look behind Jack right now, and you can see the new. You can see the.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that's that. So I was going to ask: is it somebody that are you doing all the artwork, Jack, or is it?
Those are my paintings, both of them so far, and yeah, that's what that one is. So I appreciate that.
They're perfectly suited for the music, man. Perfect.
It's hard to come up with covers, right? Sometimes.
Do you know
Because there's
how
too
long
much.
it took? We insulted so many people, graphic artists, friends of Scott. We insulted so many people because the three of us were like, well, yeah, but the third guy, no. And then finally, I just went, here's a picture of my art. They go, that's it. After like 40 years.
That sounds like
Right,
conversations
I'm right
we have
there
on
with that.
Tuesday nights. That's it.
That was easy.
That's it.
So-
I hate you, Kyle.
I hate you, Kyle. I don't mind you, Kyle. And Joe, shut up.
Scott and I had therapy sessions. Am I right, Scott? You
Yeah.
can do this one if you would prefer to, but
That's what we call this show.
This show is a weekly therapy session
Yeah.
So
for mental
You
Yeah,
guys
pleasure.
it's crazy. You got hecked. I mean, you know, you might not think like, well, when you're. It's a funny thing too. Now they can draw the parallel between working in film and working with the music. It's a much smaller team with the music, but the people that are in the creative seat have got to agree, or else you know you have a bumpy road. You know, but thank you for noticing that, John. I agree. I believe that Jack's artwork suits the packaging we've been using because we're very much, we don't have a tremendous amount of slick promotional materials.
No, but
But
it's a blending of styles. It's
Right.
artwork that's a blending of styles that is kind of reminiscent of your music.
Well,
And it's something I noticed. Again, I'm the visual
sure.
madness.
One thing
Cinematography.
that I learned about being in a band especially for so long and the longevity is it has to go beyond you just getting together to practice and writing material. Like you have to know that guy or those guys, right?
and
Like
trust
I feel like you have to have a relationship outside of the band, like a friendship.
I would not disagree with that at all, especially with the songwriting. Jack and I really you're vulnerable. You know, like I would present Jack with something, hoping he's going to dig it because I want to hear that voice sing what I'm hearing in my head. So that relationship is extremely important and very personal. And I feel like I was really, that meeting by that soda machine at that audition was really an important thing, you know, for me musically.
So clearly the 10% was that the soda machine was buzzing. Okay, just want to make sure. Just touch him back, because Jack at some point said, "I think there's 10% about the story that's kind of true," and the only thing we touched upon that was definitely happening was the soda machine was buzzing.
Well
as
played.
were the participants buzzing. I think back then
it's all improv. Bring everything back around, Jack. Everything back around.
I buzzed.
Well, that's it.
I find it to be the same.
That was an
For myself,
interesting
it's me and the
statement.
drummer.
So, Scott, a question for you. When you guys first formed the band, you weren't sober.
Not at all. Not even close. There's a joke about buzzing. You know, I mean, well, you know, I mean, I functioned really well in my early to mid 20s, but by my mid 20s, it was bad. And that's when we were starting to get showcases for major record labels. Now that's how it worked back then. You know, this is, again, that's so many years ago. It's a whole different model now, the music world. But back in, you know, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s,
Whoa, 60s.
I was gonna say, do they even have bands now, Scott? Do we even have bands?
I don't know, but the
Come on.
well, I'm easily thrown. Wait a minute. Sorry, because I've got old man brain.
Join the club.
Doing showcases for major labels was a big
Yeah, the
thing,
show.
and that was a big break for us. And the other folks, Jack and David, like I don't know now, because I was very unreliable at one point, like extremely unreliable. Like, you know, I'm at a gig Friday night, Saturday night I'm in detox, so that made it difficult.
Do you want to go here, Scotty?
Well, I think somebody asked if I was sober when the band started.
No.
Yeah,
It's true. I'm wondering if you want to go back, because I remember when it first started happening, and I remember how then you recovered. So I saw the very beginning, and I saw your recovery, which is the coolest fucking thing. Excuse my, am I allowed to curse on here?
Yes.
No, you're not
Fuck
fucking
yeah.
allowed to curse, Jack.
Motherfucker.
Jesus Christ.
But so
You
this
should
is
be
how
here
long
for
I've
some of
known
the
this guy. And I know he has a beautiful book of his poetry, which kind of walks through it. But I was there at the very beginning, Scotty, and here today still to say, I love you. And the magic that what you hear is Scott. And great, I can sing a song, but what you hear is Scott. That's all I'm trying to say.
I'm sorry, sir. You can not only sing a song, but you can harmonize with a fucking Coke machine. Don't
And
forget
by
that,
the
Jack.
way, 10% of that is truth.
10% of that is truth.
But that's a beautiful thing, because he says the same thing about you.
Yep.
My-
This is
my-
mine.
In my
Yes.
band, it's me and the drummer. We do the same thing. Every time we're at a show and people compliment us, I point right to him. I'm like, it's this guy right here. This guy wrote this riff, even though he's the drummer. He wrote the guitar riff. And he's like, well, you play it. Yeah, but you went. And I had to translate it, but you wrote it.
Are you playing?
But I'm always complimenting him, and it's vice versa. It's great.
Sorry, are you playing with
Okay.
Are you playing with Speedy Gonzalez?
Me?
Go
Sometimes.
ahead, Jack.
The riff you just did, Jack got it. The riff you just did was Speedy Gonzalez.
See, influence from everywhere. See? I didn't
That's
even-
what
I thought it was
saying.
the chicken dance.
Andale, hija.
No, it was the same thing. I couldn't agree more, Jerry. When Scott would play it, you saw that picture of that sepia tone. When he played a lead, I walked off stage. I got out of the way. That's not a lead, by the way. And by the way, that's Dave Biglin to the left playing my goddamn white guitar. That's
I put this picture up
because that is the most boss fucking tie next to fucking Colonel Sanders.
Texas tie.
Colonel Sanders,
Yeah,
baby.
I wonder why they say we're Americana.
You not only could you fly the Millennium Falcon, Scott, but you would do it with 16 herbs and spices.
And a vest.
Back
Well,
there, is
clearly,
that a Strat?
There was
Is that a Strat back there?
Yeah, this is a. Well, it's not one of the more high-end Strats. It's what they call, which sounds bad now to say Mexican Strat. It sounds so racist, but you know the Mexican Fenders. You know, we're made in the Mexican, and they call it Mexican Telly, Mexican. But now when I say that, I feel like it's just wrong to say that.
Well, that's where
They sound good though.
Right.
This is
What would you say? Like what? Like a guitar of color? Like how would you fix it?
Well, I mean, like the guys are saying,
I think that just got worse.
where they were made, you know, because the difference between the Fenders is.
Yeah, I know, but don't worry about that shit, Scott. You got so
My
much.
first electric. I think
I
my
had a
first electric
video
guitar
on
was a Japanese Fender.
Yeah. No, I
if it sounds
once
good and
put-
you like the way it plays, that's it.
Kyle and I are staying out of this because I was going to say I once played the triangle in kindergarten. I was good. Ding.
Hey, that's rhythm. That's the rhythm section. That's very.
I
important.
understand. I can get the dun, 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 dun. Anyway.
But can you match
got-
the Coke machine?
I don't probably not. I'm gonna say I'd be too busy trying to get free Coke out of the Coke machine.
I got 33 years of lip syncing experience.
You do
That's
have
it.
lip sync. You do have lip syncing.
33 years of lip syncing experience. That's it.
He's played
If you guys
Meatloaf.
aren't familiar, Kyle does the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and he's been doing it for how many years?
Way too many.
33.
What role?
Eddie.
Who's your favorite?
Eddie.
Meatloaf.
Oh my
Meatloaf.
gosh, that's awesome, man!
I was a riffraff guy because I loved that song. You know that song.
There's a
Playing
light.
in a Frankenstein place.
That's it.
Playing in the Frankenstein place.
That's another, by the way. That's another inspiration was Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like it's all in there.
Wait, what did Raven say? Put that back up. That was a good thing.
And the comment about Weezer, Mexican Fender.
Yeah, problematic is one thing, but I don't know. So you guys are going to do more releases over the next year. Are you going to hold off? Like this release, people should know if they go to Spotify or Apple or YouTube or any of these places where you can get music, they should know that there's only 3 songs, but they're 3 songs of really nice length, and you really get your vibes from them, right?
And they're free. And
they are
versions of
free and they're
it.
nice. They're so nice to listen to. I was listening to it while I was putting all these pictures in that we're not going to use. Because I can't
you keep
figure
bringing
out
up the
I
wrong
can't figure
person.
out who the fucking members of the band are. It's weird.
Ones of me and Scotty.
David
That's
was
the
about
charm
song
of this
of the
show.
without even
Do you
showing
guys-
up.
Do you guys wish that this social media thing with Spotify and all that was around years ago?
God, yes.
Great question. Well, you know what, man?
Oh, sorry. I went
Okay,
too-
you
Yes.
want to answer first?
No.
You already answered.
Mine is a reaction. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, the freedom. I mean, it's a razor's edge. The freedom that we have as artists to put out our music without any record label is good and bad at the same time. And changing the model completely, it's hard. It's still hard for me to really feel I understand how it works now. Basically, you really have to make your money on the road. Or you're not going to make money on the record.
Do you feel it like twofold though? Because Scott, I know we're not talking about movies now, we're talking about your music. It's the most important thing. But it's similar with the streaming, services of movies or how movies are getting released, like Clerks 3 and all the way things are impacted are a little bit. It's not that it's just different. It's completely different than it used to be.
Right.
So do you guys find like you're bending with the curve, or is the curve kind of like God damn it, that fucking wave keeps hitting me. Fuck.
Now it's good. There's two components. There's the financial component, which we don't give a shit about. And there's the audience and the ear component. And so back then, to get ears, you had to go literally walk into a club and play. And if you got lucky enough that Sony Records, like they did with us, paid for us to play 3 or 4 songs, that's how you got it. Now, if you look at some of the, you can argue about Billie Eilish and like, she's amazing to me. Like, what a singer. She did it on her own. Like, she didn't need an album. She didn't need Atlantic Music. She didn't need any of that bullshit. And now she monetizes it. But to me, if there was the financial component met back then with the today's component, that'd be awesome. But it depends on what you're in business for.
We combine that with when COVID hit. COVID screwed everything up with going to see live shows, and we suffered with it too. And now the show culture is even different. Shows used to end, in bars at 2 a.m. Now your music, your entertainment's done by 12:30, 1 o'clock latest. It's like, and it starts earlier. Like, there's this whole shift with so the social media thing for me is fantastic because it's for the same reason you guys. I'm not in it for the money. I'm 50 years old. I'm having a great time. I'm fortunate I could still do this. That's what it is for me.
You're so fucking talented.
And you just got 1 million ears, right?
Yeah, and that's cool. Like, people all around the world can listen online. That's the beauty of the online piece, right?
You got 1 million. You got 1 million views. You got 1 million views, and every one of us, the whole thing, the whole group of people that are in this thing interviewing you two guys tonight, we were so confused. We're like, can you monetize that? How the fuck does that work? What's going on over there? Like, it was so fucking confusing. And then he would come on every Tuesday night and be like, he's like, I think I can monetize it. I think we're going to do something. And then he'd be like, well, someday it went well today. It didn't go well yesterday. Like, but it's he's such a good musician. And we grew up together. And the funny thing, we tell this story all the time, but Jerry and I were not friends in high school, but now we're better friends than when we were in high school, and we should have been friends in high school. Like, the fact that we missed each other was just weird.
It is. We only lived about a mile away from each other, too.
We lived a mile away from each other, and we loved horror films, and we never hung out. Fucking weird. Just weird.
But in the old days, for you to get those 1 million ears or eyes or both, it's both.
Million?
You literally would have had to have been on the road 9 months opening for a really major act.
The gold record was only 50,000 albums. Not a million.
Well, I think gold is 500,000, isn't it?
I don't know. My point is,
right, I know what your point is.
There's no million views with an album. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, you know what else people don't think of, Jerry? You tell me because this came to me after we started putting our tracks out. You may not make, old school way of thinking, right? You put out a record, whatever, it's a full length album or 3-song EP, whatever it is. If 10,000 people bought that record, 10,000 people bought the record, brought it home. Maybe they listen to it. Maybe they don't. Maybe some people, love it so much they loan it out. But my point is, that's like 1 point of sale. 10,000 people bought the record. It might sit, it might be whatever. But when you get 10,000 listens and then that repeats, that's per song each time, which is a whole nother way of looking at it. It's kind of like when you see one of your old time favorite bands and their top 5 tracks, 2 million listens to Where the Streets Have No Name by U2 or whatever. That's in the here and now and continuing. That's not 2 million sales and then it's sat. So
it's right.
They resell.
I'm not trying to even
resell.
Right, and it could come back. See, that's the beautiful thing about where we are now. Something can come back around, can become viral. That was released 10 years ago.
Like Stranger Things, the Stranger Things effect, right?
Right, exactly.
Running up the hill, right? Nobody's thinking about that song. It plays for 5 minutes in a viral show, and then all of a sudden, the songwriters
Right.
Where
hitting
Metallica
platinum.
Master of Puppets took off too, like 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
because of the kid playing the guitar. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know how many times I had to buy Pink Floyd The Wall?
Because you couldn't remember where you put it?
No, because I bought the album. Then the
'Cause you're-
album went away, and then I
Right,
bought
all the media was on.
And then
I
bought
thought-
MP3
I
player.
I thought because of Jack's sense of humor, the correct answer is you had to buy the wall because you're just another brick in the
Yeah, but
wall.
now you're going back to the vinyl.
Jack and I get each other.
Oh, it's on the vinyl again.
Now, wait a minute. The wall
Vinyl
came out in
has
what,
a
80?
Full circle. I don't know
Nice.
about 8-track though. I don't know if that's coming back.
No,
Oh, I
to go
have an unopened Dark Side
I
of
don't
the
even know if
Moon
you can get a
8-track.
matchbook to put under it anymore.
book bag.
Wow. Man,
Why do you
remember
have an 8-track? Like
the
what do you
8-track in the
Well,
car?
It was my
You were
parents.
You could
ordered-
hear other tracks playing in between other tracks.
what are you waiting for a nuclear holocaust?
No, my parents.
I mean we might get it. We're
ordered
close.
the 8 tracks off of something, and they had a bunch of unopened ones that they never. and-
Did they order
and
8
Pink
for a
Floyd's
penny,
Dark Side of the
Joe?
Moon, and there's a Billy
It's-
Joel. Also, I can't remember which.
Joe,
Is it
It's
Billy
sitting
Joel?
right next-
matchbook. Just get a matchbook.
Is it Billy
for
Joel?
when
Is it
you
Billy
first
Joel,
track,
Innocent
you have to look
Man?
it up.
Because the
I don't
the
remember.
first music I got as a child, my parents brought me a little tape player, like a little boombox kind of thing, and I got Thriller and Innocent Man were my first two. Like,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, they were the first two cassettes I had, and then I of course joined the Columbia House and got
Springsteen,
9
Born to
more.
Rock.
My other
For a
point
penny.
about making money on this stuff is that then I had to buy it on Apple or no, on a CD. Then I downloaded it to my computer. I uploaded it to my phone, and then I got a new phone. Guess what happened to all that library? It's wiped out. I have 3,500 songs on a phone over there that I cannot access because I forgot the goddamn passcode from like 5 years ago. My point is, monetization of this business has gotten like
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to give you the
Very
movie
much.
equivalent, Jack. This is the movie equivalent, and Jerry knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you are, say, a Star Wars fan, which I am, I own so many copies of the original High Holy Trilogy that you would not believe how many copies I had. I had it in beta. I had it in VHS. I eventually got a letterbox version. I got,
Laserdisc.
Laserdisc. Then I had fucking Blu-ray. Now I have 4K. Mother.
Wait, then you got to get the director's cut and then the special edition director's cut.
No, I don't have to worry about that. George Lucas, everything's a director's cut. He's a maniac. It's fantastic. We're good. Okay, boys, we've held you for a long time. It's 10:01.
Wow. Thank you so
You know what? This has been incredible, Jack. You know you could have wrote something after your name, right? We all have like little quippy things, and you didn't write anything quippy.
I'm just
Scott says I don't have an ego. I'm Jack. Just Jack.
Just Jack.
He's with the witness protection program.
Just
So
Jack. Just fucking Jack.
evading the IRS.
So we have a
he's really the other guy. JW kept putting pictures up of
You know, he
Yeah.
was talking about monetizing earlier. Yep.
Just Jack.
No last names.
I think you got the name of the next fucking album. Just Jack.
2021.
I
20
love this, man.
No,
this,
you know what it should be? It should be Coke Machine.
It was actually
no, it should
by the
be
way. It was a
Coke Buzz Machine.
Pepsi?
Coke Machine
No.
Buzz.
No, it
What's
should
it,
be
what's it, Pepsi?
Jack and the Coke machine. Jack and Coke.
Jack and Coke. Yeah, Jack and Coke Buzz.
You
You
guys,
gotta get the buzz, and the buzz is the 10% that's true. Gotta get it in. We would like you to stay if you want to stay, but if you have to go, you can go. We do a Twilight Zone.
Hang out and watch.
Okay, cool. We'll start with Jerry's bit that we do every week. That we love to do, and it's amazing. And I made the graphic for it, so we do it every week now. It came from Jerry's basement because Jerry has an amazing basement, and I love it. Came from space. Came from outer space. Jerry, what is the movie this week that we are throwing on our peeps?
is called Mute Witness.
Mute Witness, 1985, Jerry. 1985, Mute Witness. So this is a 1985. It's 95. I'm sorry, not 85. Sorry, 95. Anthony Waller directed, right? And it's a fun movie. Tell us a little bit about it, Jerry.
It's about a girl who's mute. Basically, she's a special effects artist on the job in Russia on a set. And after hours on the set, she witnesses a snuff film being filmed. And she all of a sudden has agents after her because she was seen. So
yeah,
that also came from Jerry's basement.
Yeah, the snuff film. He also has the full snuff film from the movie.
I think I have that here somewhere too.
It's next to The Thing. Everything's fine. Where can people find this movie? It is an interesting, fun little movie.
I did find this on YouTube.
It is in Russia and English. Russian and English.
I think Jack just went to get a snuff film.
The English version was on YouTube.
Or a Coke from the buzz. He has a
again, Jerry.
What's that?
Bring it up again.
It's probably backwards, right?
No, it's fine.
No.
No.
Oh, it's fine. It's backwards for me on my screen.
Yeah. Oh. And then also I do this to help Jerry out. So it's full. It's right there. She won't be silenced. Yeah, it's a really fun thriller. It was like it's all part of that thriller genre in the middle of the 90s, like 8mm and Citizen X, where you're kind of just watching. Yeah, Citizen X especially, right? Because it's That's a Russian serial killer movie that was on HBO, I think.
Guys, I apologize. Something just came up. I gotta go. Sorry.
Okay.
It was
we
great
love you.
seeing everybody. Thank you.
Be safe.
Joe.
Bye, Joe. Something.
Viagra started working.
I hope Joe's okay. Let's go to my favorite part of the week and the part of the week that Kyle hates the most. We'll see if you guys like it. You've crossed over into the Twilight Zone Redux. So every week we do one episode of the Twilight Zone, and this week's episode, again, Jerry, we're in the weird part of the Twilight Zone where every person is an asshole. That is the bad guy of a Twilight Zone episode, and this guy is terrible.
Dr. Smith is in this one too.
Dr. Smith is in this one as well. Yes. So the opening narration of The Silence, the note that this man is carrying across a club room is the form of a proposed wager, but it's the kind of wager that comes without precedent. It stands alone in the annals of bet making as the strangest game of chance ever offered by the one man to another. In just a moment, we'll see the terms of the wager and what young Mr. Tennyson does about it. And in the process, we'll witness all parties spin a wheel of chance in a very bizarre casino called the Twilight Zone. So basically, there's this guy named Archie Taylor, and there's this guy named Jamie Tennyson. And Tennyson, they're at a club that is very similar and reminiscent of any of the clubs in Trading Places, is the best way I can describe this.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that John Landis and the people who wrote Trading Places saw this movie, this episode of the Twilight Zone, you're out of your minds. So it's basically, that is an enclosure that is the bottom of said gentleman's club. This is the guy bringing the note over. And Tennyson is this young, brash guy that's always kind of asking for money of the older people in the club. And he's always doing business investments, and he's talking all the time. This gentleman hates him. And this is the gentleman's lawyer. And basically what happens is the bet is the older man bets the younger man that he can keep quiet for 12 months. No talking for 12 months. And the way he's going to do that is he's going to put him in said enclosure in the basement of this gentleman's club. And they have microphones on him, so he can't make any sounds, he can't talk. And they're going to do it over the course of a year. And
for $500,000.
For $500,000. Crazy. And the way it plays out is not what you would think, because there are actually two twists in this episode of the Twilight Zone. So the first twist is as the bet progresses, what happens is this old man as it's progressing, he keeps on thinking, I need to get this kid out of here. I need to stop it. He offers some money. He then goes to the really scumbag method of telling this guy who basically has told a bunch of people. Yeah, but the interesting thing is the kid has told the guy's lawyer that the reason I'm doing this is because I've lost some money recently and my wife is used to nice things and I love her and I want to make sure I can keep her. So it's his Achilles heel. And this old guy keeps on coming down and you know, it starts off as, you know, little things like, I saw your wife, she looked lonely. And then the next one is, I saw your wife, she was getting in the car with like a tennis pro. And it just becomes like this unwieldy, unyielding kind of like, he's just a bad person. Like he's terrible. And we've had a bunch of characters in the Twilight Zone that are absolutely awful. And so as it progresses, you know, the lawyer's like, I'm hearing things that you're doing all these horrible things to this kid. And I hope you have the money. Like, I would fail this experiment miserably. I hope you have the money. And what you're doing to this kid is like, it's ruined your reputation at this club. Anyway, so the episode progresses. It gets to the end. The kid makes it the year. He comes out. He puts his hand out to get the check from the guy. And the guy says, I'm broke. I have no money. You're a better man than I. I will give up my membership to this club.
And he's still not talking.
And he's still not talking. And he has an ascot wrapped around his neck.
Even though he can.
You're a better man than I. And all the people are freaking out. Like the old guys are all around him, freaking out, going crazy. This is what Tennyson looks like with the ascot and everything. And it even has like little things where you can talk to him through the wall. It's a bizarre episode. And it finally ends with Tennyson, say something. Why? You know, you have every right to be angry. And he gets a piece of paper and he writes it down. And what does it say? What does it say? And it turns out Tennyson had cut his vocal cords to make sure he could win the bet. So it's a double twist on a Twilight Zone thing. And it has something to do with closing narration is Mr. Jamie Tennyson, who almost won a bet, but who discovered somewhat belatedly that gambling can be a most unproductive pursuit, even with loaded dice, marked cards, or in this case, some severed vocal cords. For somewhere beyond him, a wheel was turned, and his number came up black 13. If you don't believe it, ask the croupier, the very special one who handles roulette in the Twilight Zone. So it turns out this episode is a big don't gamble episode. That's the episode is don't gamble your shit away. And basically the interesting side note is we've had 3 scumbag characters in the Twilight Zone thus far. This guy, I think, deserves to be murdered. Like, I don't take this lightly, Jerry. I don't take this lightly, Jerry. I think all the old guys in the club should kill him. I think they should murder him.
I wanted proof that his check wasn't going to bounce, and he said, "Everybody in here knows.
Everybody knows that I'm good for it." Like, motherfucker. We've had 3 characters on the Twilight Zone that deserve imminent death.
Usually, Dr. Smith is the jerk.
Right? Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing. Dr. Smith is playing against type here, right? So it's wild. It is wild that Jonathan Harris is playing the good lawyer. He's a lawyer too. He's a good lawyer in the Twilight Zone. Yeah, bizarre. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's fun. But the interesting thing about the episode, 2 things. It aired on April 28th, 1961. It's season 2, episode 25. We are now 4 episodes away. And next week's episode will be something called Shadow Play, which is, I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. But we're going to get into it. It should be fun. The Twilight Zone, Jack and Scott, I feel we've discussed this. We've been watching all the episodes every week. We're two seasons in with the number of episodes we've done. And the Twilight Zone, the best bang for your buck in television with regards to beginning, middle, and end of every story. Amazing storytelling. like every week. You know what I mean? It's just incredible. Do you guys like the Twilight Zone? Kyle doesn't like it. That's why I'm asking.
JW, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Because I know that you would probably know this. How many times has Shatner been an actor in the Twilight Zone? Is it more than one?
Yes.
It is more than one.
He's Terror 20,000 feet.
Right, the thing
with the gremlin. But he's also in an episode of season 2, which involves a young couple. Yeah, a matter of time. Is it a matter of time? I think it is something like that. Something like that. But there's an episode where he's with a young girl, his fiance, and they're making a trip across the country, and their car breaks down, and he's in a restaurant with a little machine that has a devil head on it, and it tells fortunes, and he's plugging the money in there. So he's definitely. I think he might even have a third one, but
yeah, it's at least 2 for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely 2. But the one is actually the one is like Terror at 20,000 feet. You know, is Nightmare at 20,000 feet is the name of the episode, and the other episode is Nick of Time. Are the 2?
Wow.
So he's been in 2, and they're 2 of the best fucking episodes of the show ever.
What's the one?
God,
2's official.
What's the one where there's like the end of the world and the old guy?
Burgess Meredith.
Time Enough at Last.
So happy he looks, and then he steps on his glass.
Yes, Time Enough at Last.
Yeah, that's
I remembered that from when I was a kid because he says something like, "But there was time now."
There was time now.
So heartbreaking.
I think Meredith might have the most episodes because he's in a few. Yeah. He's in at least 3 that we've hit thus far. Hold on.
You know what's funny about that is the same thing back in those days. Bonanza was another place where you would see up and coming actors when you see the reruns now.
Meredith is the all-time champ, by the way, just for everybody paying attention. Meredith has, first off, he was in Twilight Zone, the movie, but he's also in Printer's Devil, Time Enough at Last, which is the episode with the Coke bottle spectacles, Mr. Dingle the Strong, which is a great episode for you guys. We just did this one a couple weeks ago, where he basically plays this putz who hangs out in a bar all the time. And these 2 aliens, it's the wildest alien fucking outfits you'll ever see. They give him the power of like super strength. And then he kind of just fucking screws around with it and they take it away. And then more aliens come and give him the power of like super thinking. It's a great episode. And then he's also in an episode we have coming up in 3 weeks called The Obsolete Man, which is really profound shit because it's about a librarian in the Twilight Zone. He's a librarian who also believes in God, and God and the Bible and books have been in this future society he's obsolete because there's no more books and nobody believes in God. And we'll hit that. That's the last episode of season 2. We got that in 3 weeks.
Wow.
So Burgess Meredith's the all-time champ. But the Twilight Zone has been so fun for us. Not for Kyle, because Kyle hates, but for Jerry and I, we go every week and we come out every week going, this is the greatest fucking show ever. Like the full stories, excellent acting, incredible set design. And like there was a car crash in an episode 2 weeks ago that was like, for a car crash in the 60s, it was traumatic. Like it was like special effects where you're like, holy shit, they look like they wrecked a real car. Jesus.
They must have.
They probably did.
Yeah.
But last thing, we got previews of movies before we go. And then I got to talk about a day I'm going to have tomorrow, the best day ever for me. And before we let Jack Scott.
Don't come down till October. It's not the best day ever for you.
Oh, it's going to be the best. We'll talk about it. So we have movies coming out this week. For everybody who's wondering, Elio, which is the latest Pixar movie, This, by the way, is Glorton. This Elio's to the right. Glorton is the giant bug-like thing to the left. I'm going to tell you right now, Glorton's going to be my favorite movie and a character in a movie this year. This side of Superman. I'm telling you right now, Glorton is going to rule all for me. I love Pixar characters that are fat and funny, and that's what I'm into. Also this week for all the horror fans, the first big horror film of the summer, 28 years later.
Oh, wow.
Danny Boyle. Look at this fucking artwork. Look at this, how fucking terrifying this fucking picture is.
That's got the original Dawn of the Dead written all over it.
Oh my God, it's gonna be so much fun. And then also it's got a great cast. Like the cast is astounding. And then there's one other movie opening, Brideheart. Brideheart, Rebel Wilson, which is like a Die Hard Bridesmaids hybrid.
The Expendable Brides.
The Expendable Brides. So my day tomorrow, kids. Before I let Scott and everybody go and Jack go, my day tomorrow, I will be going to see this at 1:00.
Ah.
With this guy and this guy.
Favorite movie.
And it's my favorite movie of all time. And then at 7:00, after I go see The Phoenician Scheme at 4, I will be seeing this movie with these two guys who are two of my favorite actors of all time. It is a perfect day. It's going to be a perfect day. Also, Kyle, you said you're coming down in I don't know if this is real, Kyle. Look at this. Did you see this?
I saw that. It came out. Yes, I got the email.
Holy
it's real.
fuck. Holy, is it real?
It's real.
Cool. Let's go.
You're seeing these in the theater?
Yes. I never miss a chance to see Raiders in the theater. Raiders is playing. So we have a theater chain down here that runs old-timey movies on Sundays and Wednesdays. And so Raiders was playing for Father's Day, and they'll also play for Wednesday. Then Fathom Events released Last Crusade on Sunday and Wednesday for Father's Day. So I'm going to two different theaters.
Where are you?
What?
Where are you, and how do I get there?
I'm in DeLand, Florida, which is about 45 minutes out of Daytona Beach and 45 minutes out of Orlando.
A little too far. All right.
I would have taken you, Jack. Jack, you and I are friends, Jack. You and I get along. You got all my jokes tonight, and that's a big way to be my friend.
Or, as Colin's going to say, an idiot.
Oh, I'm totally an idiot. It's like I'm totally the idiot. Like, you ever see that scene in Tommy Boy where they said, somebody says to him, "Would you eat paint chips as a kid?" And he's got like he's got like the mud all over his face, and he looks like a deer, and he's like, "Why?" That's me. That's who I am. A fucking clown that knows about movies better than anybody.
Tommy Boy, anything with Chris Farley.
Comedic genius. I just watched Conan just had David Spade on, and they got to a segment where they were talking about Farley and about like how they got put together, which was a fascinating story. Like, all the people at SNL behind the scenes were all going, those two should work together. Those two should work together. They kept on pushing them towards to get each other. And, he basically goes, Lauren finally told us one day, you guys have to work together.
I love it.
And basically, because it was like, the joke Spade told was, I would make fun of Farley and he would laugh and he would say, make fun of me again. I like it. It's funny. and then Farley would say something else. And so one day he came in and he goes, Dave, I think I'm just going to be known as the funny fat guy. And Spade said to him, would it be better if you were the fat funny guy? and Chris Farley's like, a little bit better. That's a little bit better. But that's me in a nutshell.
Anyway,
but I want to thank you guys. Francis Fell, where can people find your stuff? We also in the description of the show, all the places you can get your music. But where can people find your stuff? Where can people find everything about you guys?
FrancisFell.com.
I'll move him over because you're pointing to him. So go ahead, do it again.
FrancisFell.com.
There you go.
Better, perfect.
In honor of tonight's promo opportunity, that sounds so conniving, promo opportunity. But in honor of tonight's appearance, the FrancisFell.com got a bit of a reworking. It's looking pretty good. But there's not a lot there. It's
for me, this was a lot of fucking fun.
You know what? We are trying to get more. We're expanding more out. We're trying to unite creatives and get everybody together. And I'm telling you, I'm going to push because I visit the Northeast once a year before it gets super cold.
Every once a year?
Once a year, I visit the Northeast. It's like if you see my shadow, I go the fuck back home.
60 degrees and cold.
Yeah, fuck. I can't handle you people anymore. My blood's thin now. But I am dying for the mashup, the G.I. Joe Transformers mashup that will be Slapjaw and Francis Fell. And I will push it to the extent. Scott, Schiaffo, Jack Fellers, thank you so much for joining us. It was amazing, and it really was. And just stick around. I'm going to put you in the green room. Stick around for a couple minutes. We'll bring it back. We're going to say goodbye to everybody else. Give me one moment. Bye, Jack. What do you boys got going on before we get out of here? Because we're 1:23.
July 19th.
At the
B-spot.
Jesus Christ, you guys are killing me.
I'll be Pocono Cinema this Saturday.
This Saturday, live Shadowcast,
Saturday.
Sweet Translucent Dreams, Pocono Cinema and Cultural Center. And then you are this Saturday, July 19th at the V-Spot. And then we also want to give a shout out to, where's our guy? Did I bring it? I don't know if I brought it. I might not have brought it. God damn it. I hate when that shit happens. Like, I had everything tonight, by the way. Did you see how many Francis Fell pictures I had?
Yeah, it was great.
Do you have any concept that to get it wrong every single fucking time?
But there's
That's
that
nice.
shirt.
That's a good shirt. That's a quality shirt.
That is pretty cool.
But Gabe's got a big show coming up this week as well, and I
More like
saved
that,
it.
though.
Young Jerry is Young Jerry. I feel is like a show on CBS that we can do. I can't find it. Gabe's got a good show coming up tomorrow night with a cast of Red Rising, I believe is the name of the movie. You can find me, JW the Movie Guy, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, X, or whatever the fuck he's calling it this week. Thank you for joining us this week, and thank you for sticking with us. We'll see everybody next week for Loud and Nerdy. No Generation Movie next week. We're taking a week off. Thanks for joining. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Superman the movie, and then Superman 2 before the new Superman comes out. Thank you for joining us. Everybody have a great night. Stay safe. Go see some movies. Bye. And thanks to the guys from Francis Fell. You guys are tremendous. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Go listen to their music. It's cool shit.